Good evening, everybody. It is so wonderful to be here live at the Torch Center for what is our third annual Breakneck Through the Bible series. We're in the middle of Leviticus. But before we begin that, today, as you know, is the Omer. We count the Omer these days between Pesach and Shavuot. We count 49 days. I'm not going to share with you what today's day is because I still haven't counted. We're going to count at the end of class, and if I say if I say what day it is, I already invalidated my ability to make a blessing on that counting. So, without saying that, yesterday was the 10th day of the Omer, and I decided last year we've done 48 ways, one way for each of the 49 days, and the last day we did a review. This year, I would like to, whenever we have class, to share an inspirational idea on the Omer. You see, these days, the Jewish people were preparing themselves, getting them ready to be at Mount Sinai to receive the Torah, to receive the revelation, really, that led to the Torah, which commemorates that revelation, and every mitzvah we do in the Torah brings back a new and fresh and vibrant relationship that we had with Hashem at Mount Sinai. So one of the challenges that we face as human beings, whether we're an athlete in sports, whether we are a business person, whether we are a student in yeshiva or in school, is that many times we have our routine, we have our pattern, our regular way in which our habits guide us, and we find a difficulty with trying something new, with trying something different. Because, what are we afraid of?
Failure.
We're afraid of failure. Now, if you ask someone who's succeeded, they will tell you that the only way they achieved success is because of their failure. So in not trying, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to fail. And if you don't fail, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to succeed. So one of the most essential points in our spiritual growth is to try. We must try. We tell it to our children, just give it a try. You know what? If your child doesn't try riding without training wheels, they'll never learn to ride a bicycle. Yeah, they might fall. But part of our growth is taking that chance. It's being in that risk. Now, I'll share with you just a quick idea. We've discussed this in the past. The difference between Noach and Abraham. We know that Noach, it says, the great Noach with the ark, it says that Noach was a righteous man in his generation. Abraham, we know that Abraham was tested 10 times, and he passed 10 times. Again, he wasn't afraid to fail. He took that gamble. He took that try. And because of that, Abraham, it says that, why does it say by Noach that he was a great man in his generation, a great righteous person in his generation? Because the commentaries explain that had he been in the generation of Noach, in Abraham's generation, he may not have been that great. Why? And it says the following. It says, Ki Noach hayat tzarich sa'ad letomcho. Rashi, the great commentator, says, because Noach needed training wheels. He needed someone to hold him up at all times. He needed that extra support. But Abraham was ready to go on his own. He didn't need his training wheels. He was ready to have that am I going to fall? I'm going to pass the test. I'm going to go. I'm going to push through it. Noach was a good person. He stayed away from trouble. His generation was awful. He stayed away from trouble. So that was enough for him to be considered righteous. But to be considered righteous, not in his generation, you have to take off those training wheels. You have to be willing to put yourself out in that risk, to put yourself in a place where you're not so comfortable, a place that you... Now, all of us, we all have many, many years of experience. I have a little bit more because you're all so young, right? But, and I've revealed already to the public I'm old. I'm very old, right? So the life experience that we have gets us into a certain pattern where there's certain things we're comfortable with, certain things we're not comfortable with, and we're not ready to break out of it, especially when it comes to our religious observance, when it comes to our knowledge of Torah, When it comes to many of these different areas, and we discussed this yesterday, how many of us had the exact same ideas at the Seder this year as we did when we were 6 years old? Shouldn't it mature? Shouldn't it grow? We shouldn't think about Adam and Eve the way we thought about it when we heard it in grade school. We shouldn't think about Noach and the Ark and Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and the tribes and Moses and the plagues and the Exodus. We shouldn't think about it the same way as we did then. That was as a child. Now we're grown. Just like in many other areas, we have matured our understanding of things, so too in our spiritual growth, in our knowledge of Torah, we should also constantly infuse ourselves with more wisdom, more knowledge, seek more understanding, and never be afraid to try and grow and change. Because greatness comes from trying new things. It says, Sheva yipol tzadik v'kam. King Solomon in Psalm says, a tzaddik, a righteous person, will fall at least 7 times. You'll fall. That's the reality. When you fall, you become greater. If you don't fall, you ask Lahavdil, Elef Alfei Avdos, not to compare between holy and unholy, but if you ask Michael Jordan what his passion for basketball, where did it start? He'll say when he was thrown off the high school team because he wasn't tall enough and he didn't have a good enough shot. His failure was the beginning, was the genesis of his success. He said, they threw me off the team. I'm going to show them I'm going to be better. And he practiced his shot. And notwithstanding that he was just 6'6", which is, midget in NBA, he became one of the greatest, if not the greatest, player in history. And dozens and dozens and dozens of athletes, people who are, heroes in the global world, in the secular world, right? It's all because those challenges made them so much greater. We shouldn't let challenges limit us. Challenges is what we should look for. Not that we should look for challenges, but we shouldn't be afraid of them because we only grow. We only have to grow from these experiences. So in this time of the Omer, let's take the opportunity not to be afraid of challenge, not to be afraid to try. Because when we try, ultimately, we will succeed. Thank you. Have a terrific Omer, everybody. Thank you for joining us. You're welcome to join us here at the Torch Center and learn with the tremendous, wonderful people here, the Breakneck Through the Bible. We're right now middle of Leviticus, as we also are in our Torah portion reading. So we're looking forward to seeing you here live, or for any of our other classes, you can check torchweb.org, or, can you pass me that, please? Or this magnificent new Torch manual of who and what we are, dedicated in loving memory of Marsha Cohen, Zechorah Livracha. It has an incredible listing of all of our divisions and a beautiful display of all of our ongoing programs that we have, and we're looking forward to seeing you at those programs. Thank you so much. You're always welcome to come to the Torch Center to pick up your free copy. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.